if you put aside the substance for a second, when it comes to pure political theatre, this was absolutely brilliant. It was a speech he'd been waiting 2 years to give because the post-election speech had been so delayed. The previous week, Keir Starmer, I thought, also gave a good speech that did what it needed to do, but within the terms of what Labour needs to do, which is to put the hard left down. He did that. There was some boos, but it was far too long. It didn't cut through, and it was dry and boring. This, by contrast, forget about the substance, was witty, and it was energetic, and there was a palpable sense of unity in the conference. So in that sense, coming out of this conference season, the Prime Minister looks restored when it comes to authority.
When it comes to the substance, let's just play a clip from the Prime Minister's speech, particularly this idea of the looming recalibration of supply and demand when it comes to the labour market in particular, and what that might do for wages. Let's listen.
I'm pleased to say that after years of stagnation, more than a decade, wages are going up faster than before the pandemic began. And that matters deeply because we are embarking now on a change of direction that has been long overdue in the UK economy. We're not going back to the same old broken model with low wages, low growth, low skills and low productivity, all of it enabled and assisted by uncontrolled immigration.
People will always ask him when you get these conference speeches, with the Johnson project, what does he actually stand for? Where's the ideology that's coming through? It's difficult with someone like Boris Johnson. He's a pragmatist first and foremost, isn't he? But actually this idea of improving wages for everyone as part of that levelling up agenda is really starting to come through and crystallise.
It is. Now, there are two criticisms levelled at it. First is that if you're relying upon a tightening of supply, whether it comes to labour or goods, in order to drive up wages, the problem with that is that any wage increase is combined with an increase in prices. And also, of course, because of national insurance increases, it's also matched by an increase in taxes. So while wages may well be going up, prices are going up as well, which brings me to the second point, which is the real question with Boris Johnson. I think there's a perfectly coherent economic strategy to follow, which says constrain immigration, force businesses to train and to spend more on wages. But the question is this happening because Boris Johnson intended to do it, or is this an unforeseen consequence of Brexit and the lockdown? And Boris Johnson is, in retrospect, claiming this as a policy. And I suspect it's the latter. It seems to have become government policy, but I really do doubt that it was that to begin with, that the plan all along was to shrink the labour supply so that employers would have to bribe people to work for. And of course, in the medium run, heading into Christmas, these labour shortages are going to be passed on in terms of price increases or services not delivered. So is this a philosophy we're seeing here, or is this a reaction to events?